Hello guys, welcome back onto the Dutch couch. Got to say, I think it's really going to be hitting home now, and it's going to become a real stomach churning time for these Everton supporters as they get closer to the time they're leaving Goodison Park and heading to Bramley Moore for the new stadium. I don't think they quite realise what a change it's going to be for them. But for this fan base in particular, I really do hope that it's going to be a massively successful move for them. Great club, full of history and tradition, and a great fan base. Things are going to change massively. Match day routine. I don't even think a lot of fans even realise this sort of stuff. They're probably not even crossed their mind. Your match day routine might be something simple, like walking through Stanley Park to the ground, or going to the same pub or the same cafe, meeting the same faces, meeting up with the same people, going through the same turnstile, even going to something silly like going to the same programme seller. All this will change. You've got to be ready for this, because from a personal experience, it is huge and something that really affects you. I mean, they've experienced the Toffees in that ground for so many years, right? And this is a place full of character, full of history. I mean, I'm looking at some of the players they've seen there, the likes of Dixie Dean, the Graham Sharps. These sort of players, Sheedies, these sort of legends of Everton. All those memories are going to be left there at that place that is so special to each and every one of these. And what's important for me, they would have made these memories sitting or standing alongside their dad or granddad who might not longer be there. So in there, you are going to feel this. Trust me, I'm telling you from experience, you are going to feel this in there. It's going to be madness. It's massive, I'm telling you. I really hope none of them feel the same way as I did when Arsenal left Highbury. It never felt like home going to the new ground anyway. But I'll tell you what, the feeling, the last time you walk out of Goodison on that day, you will feel emotions that you've never felt before. This is going to feel like someone's died in front of you. I'm telling you, it might sound dramatic, but if you watch this video and then you happen to go to that last game of the season, come back to the comments later on and tell me how you're feeling, because I can tell you from that experience, yeah, it's not a nice one. You're going into the unknown then, into the future at the new place, thinking, what's this gonna hold for us, you know? But I think there's going to be a torn feeling. I think there's going to be a torn feeling between amongst the Everton crowd here, really. Obviously, you're going to be going into this £760 million stadium, right, at Bramley Moore Docks, like I said. I think it's just under 60,000 capacity. So business-wise, you know that the club, you know that for the future it's good in that respect. You're getting more people able to watch matches, and for me, it's going to become, at first, it's going to become a bit of a corporate tourist attraction, which I hated at the Emirates. The feeling there was never the same, and I never got it back. And ultimately, I fell out of love with going, and I don't go there no more. I really hope you guys, as Everton fans, don't get those feelings. I hope you feel at home here, and they've really worked on the infrastructure, everything there, to make it feel like it's never going to be Goodison. Trust me on that one, it will never be Goodison Park. That place was special. I went there ground hopping, and that's one of my favourite grounds. And even as a neutral supporter, I've got no affiliation with Everton, but I'm absolutely gutted that that stadium's not going to be in use no more. It's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be. Is it going to be knocked down to be houses or whatever? That is such a shame and such a loss to English football. Massive. Yeah, on the plus side, it's going to be full of mod cons, right? Mod cons, top of the range facilities, all the highest everything's going to be the highest standard there. And one thing I would say at these new stadiums, obviously at Goodison, as well as other old grounds, you had pillars in front of you. At this stadium, you're going to have a brilliant view from any seat in that stadium. So I can't knock that. You're going to have a great view of the pitch and the match. But what I like about this ground is the way they've made their stands so steep. So they've actually thought about the atmosphere, and they've thought about the tightness of the ground. A lot of these new builds, you need a set of binoculars and you're in a different postcode to watch the game. They don't think about the match day experience of the supporter. And I'm hoping, and I feel like Everton and the architects and the people they're working with actually thought of this stuff. I hope and pray I'm right and it's a good experience for each and every one of you. good thing about this new stadium as well, obviously it creates a huge amount of new jobs, brings money into the local economy, right? But on the flip side of that, I'm looking at the pubs, the cafes, and the businesses over around Goodison. And for as many good points there, it's going to have killed. I'm guessing it's going to have killed businesses in that area, ones who really rely on the match day revenue. So that's a shame. It's such a shame. It has to, obviously clubs have to move on. They have to expand and look to the future. But there's always a little man at the bottom of the ladder there who misses out and ultimately gets buried because of it. Will the atmosphere be the same? I'm not so sure. Goodison, for me, when I went especially, I thought the atmosphere was absolutely brilliant. And I've got to say, each and every person that I met that day, I always mingle when I ground up. Every person was lovely there. And I love Scouse people anyway, because I think they're very misunderstood and they are probably the friendliest people I've met. But when you move to a new stadium, I go back to Arsenal, when you move from Highbury, people who sit and sit in the North Bank or the Clock End in particular, where the atmosphere was, you move to a new stadium, you tend to get scattered around the stadium. So you do lose those little relationships that you've made in the stadium over the years. You see the same faces, you have the same conversations, you might just shake someone's hand, but it's feeling part of that community. That transcends onto the terraces and in the stands, and it creates an atmosphere. You feel more comfortable with the same people around you. It's natural. It's happened at so many new build stadiums. I'm really hoping that they can really get this together here. I might sound like a bit of an Everton lover. I'm not, but I'm a lover of English football, and I'm a lover of football in general. Well, I'm a lover of Dutch football, as you can see, but I'm a lover of football in general. And I'm a huge believer that without an atmosphere, a stadium is pointless. They're soulless. You can see this with these new soulless bowls now. I look at West Ham, places like that. And a great fan base that West Ham have got, they don't seem to have an atmosphere. It's down to the stadium, a lot of it. No doubt the food and the beverages are going to be massively hiked up in prices. Ultimately, when you move to a new stadium and these things cost the club money, it's you in the pocket. Your pocket's going to be smashed by it long term. It's going to happen. I don't know. I should have looked really at the season ticket prices and whatever. But I'm guessing in time, Everton fans are going to be paying a lot more in season ticket prices. In the comments, let me know what the season ticket prices are compared to Goodison. I'd like to know that. I should have looked at that really. Bad on my part. But ultimately for me, when you go into a new ground, and as a football supporter, it is all about the match day experience. I've done videos on this. As much as you can have comfort and mod cons, that match day experience, particularly the feelings you feel inside that stadium, how tight-knit you feel in your little match day community, is everything. That is everything for me. It's massive. You can't underestimate. To be honest, that is everything. Don't underestimate what that is. It's nice to go into a nice shiny new arena and think, oh, look at this, look at the pitch, look at the surroundings. Ultimately, it's what you feel in here, because that's what you take home with you, and that's what you share with thousands and thousands of other fans who are in the same mindset and the same love for that club. That is what matters. I'm telling you. Will they feel the authentic experience though? I've done videos on this when you go to new build stadiums. Maybe I'm old and nostalgic, right? But when I go to a football ground, this is why I go to lower league and not I go to the National League now to watch Dagenham. I feel there the authentic experience of a match day, which I felt in the 80s and early 90s. I'm not sure it's possible to get that feeling in a stadium like this. I know there's going to be some teething problems here as well. I read up about the train station. I think it's Sandhill train station. I know there is a few other train stations in the area, but what I picked up from this was the platforms were too small and it couldn't accommodate enough supporters. And I think I read something about one of the bridges couldn't take the weight of so many people, so they had to be stop-start to get away from the ground. And this is only in a test event. I think there was only 25,000 there. Well, it's going to be more than double that there. And I'm hearing this massive, huge parking restrictions in the area. The traffic was a nightmare. That's going to be the case, traffic obviously. But you double that then. You double that. More than double the amount of people who are going to be there. I'm guessing they should have done a little bit more research and thought about infrastructure a little bit more. And I'm here, someone did say to me yesterday that you can only come out of the ground from the dock side. I don't know how true this is. I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't have thought you're going to see nearly 60,000 people coming out of a few entrances on one side of the stadium. I can't see that, to be honest. So whether that's true or not, let me know in the comments on that. But I'd love to know, I'd love to hear from Everton fans who have been to these couple of test events they've done, safety events. Let me know, what's your opinion of the stadium? So I've got to say, I'm going to hopefully play the tourist. I'd love to go to new grounds, and I want to tick this off. And I want to experience this, because what I'm seeing from outside, it looks good. And I watched all the drone footage and stuff on YouTube, like during the building. And I've really quite followed this quite closely. And particularly because it's such an historic club. And Goodison Park, for me, is on a par with sort of the Highbury's and the Anfields and these historic stadiums in this country. I mean, you're looking at new stadiums. They're talking about new stadiums going up, Man United, Chelsea. They've always been tourist traps anyway, for yonks and yonks. So for me, there is history at Old Trafford. Chelsea, tourist trap for me anyway. And so is United now. But I'm looking at clubs who have moved. You're looking at your Arsenals. I say again, the Arsenals, the Tottenhams, the West Hams. Have them moves really been a success on the pitch? I think they've been a success business-wise. But if you ask fans of those clubs, I'd love to know what sort of percentage think, I'm so glad we left White Hart Lane, the original White Hart Lane, or left Highbury, or Upton Park. West Ham fans in particular, I know because I've done videos on this and I'm based not far from West Ham. A huge majority of them absolutely hate the London Stadium. And it's a bit of a laughing stock between away fans. I think away fans will actually love Bramley Moore. I think the design of it, the steepness of it. And I think these fans, the Everton fans, I think they will create a great atmosphere in that stadium. The acoustics have been, I think the acoustics of the stadium have really been looked into. And for me, that's massive. Because as much money as you can make and put in a club's pocket, ultimately for a fan doesn't care how much money a club's got. A fan wants to know that they're going to their ground and they've still got a great atmosphere. And they've still got, they're definitely going to have a team who are fighting for every ball. They usually do, Everton. They say they play. They're fucking blood, sweat and tears. Then players usually give you everything. And I think a big amount of that is due to the fact that these fans get right behind them and push them on. If you lose that, Everton are in trouble. If you lose your atmosphere, you're in deep shit, in my opinion, because that's such a big part of this club. The people. Real people's club. Another club I think will be mad to move stadium. And that would be a massive loss to English football, would be Newcastle. If they left St James's Park. For the same reason. I'm not sure they could recreate the atmosphere if people are scattered around the ground. I get it, it's going to be I've got to say this to you, in all honesty, when you go to this new stadium for the first time, the first game of next season, and during the season, it's probably going to be a bit of a novelty at first. I mean, I was a season ticket holder at Arsenal, right? I was going to the games, and it's only the last couple of years I realise, I look back and I'm thinking, I wasn't really enjoying the actual place I was watching a game in. It wasn't the same. I wasn't enjoying it. But at the time, I thought I was. It's only when I went to the non-league, I'm thinking, I didn't really enjoy it. And that's sad for a club that you've gone to watch for absolute years and years, made memories with your dad, your family, your friends, you know. But yeah, I'm passionate about football, and as I say, I've been following this, and I'm absolutely passionate that I want this to be a massively great move for Everton. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm not going to drone on, but let me know in the comments what you reckon. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.